The Dreamcast was a beast. For such a short time on the market, Sega's compact little machine was endowed with an impressive lineup of games, both first party and third party. A little machine ahead of its time in many ways, but maybe a step too soon, missing out on the DVD craze that helped the PlayStation 2 demolish it. Its legacy lives on, however, and in recent light of Sega announcing they'd love to bring more Dreamcast games to the Switch, I'm here to tell you the 5 that we want the most. Before going into it, consider subscribing for more awesome Nintendo Switch content from me, Juan, and James. Without further ado, 5 Dreamcast games we love on the Switch. Starting off with a game I'm not particularly desiring myself, but when asked over Twitter, one of the popular responses was Jet Set Radio, also originally known as Jet Grind Radio for our American brethren. Almost revolutionary in its use of cel-shaded graphics, well before the likes of Wind Waker came along, Jet Set Radio was well loved by fans and critics alike. Mixing an inline skating take on Tony Hawk's with graffiti tagging, and you've got yourself a pretty unique experience, especially with the far too hip soundtrack. This is no doubt one of the most primed Switch ports thanks to a HD release already developed back in 2012 for PS3 and Xbox 360. I wouldn't be surprised to see an eShop release sooner rather than later.
Oh yeah!
For our second choice, we move to the bleeding obvious, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I'm just counting them as a single release because these are my rules and I want to. Sonic Adventure defines the Dreamcast and most people's memories of it. A rough but charming take on Sonic's first proper 3D outing, Sonic Adventure and its sequel are top of the list when it comes to my favourite Sonic games. While I enjoyed both, the first game made such a lasting impact on me when seeing it for the first time, and I'm sure many people out there would love a chance of playing them both again on the go on the Switch. In a similar vein to Jet Set Radio, both Sonic Adventure games would be easy enough ports considering they too were released in HD last generation. As strange as it seems though, I think these two may be less likely than Jet Set Radio. Sonic is at a major high right now with the release of Sonic Mania, and as stated, these two games are fun but very rough. And Sega may not want to hurt their biggest brand, so who knows? Now this is a bit of a personal choice. The two Evolution games on Dreamcast were probably mediocre at best, but I have an oddly vague nostalgia for them. I don't remember a whole lot about the two games. When I think about the Dreamcast, the Evolution games often pop into my head with painfully unclear moments in my head. They are fond moments though. What I do remember is that these RPGs were very simplistic with below par presentation even for the time. They're probably not very good, but I would absolutely love another go at them to clear up my memory and hopefully take me back 20 years. I am aware that the two games were combined into one GameCube release back in the day, but the cut content makes me want the Dreamcast versions instead. Did any of you guys play the Evolution games back in the day, or is this just a quirky relic from my past? Shenmue 1 and 2 are the most surefire releases that we will see on the Switch. I am confident about that due to their recent HD releases on other consoles, as well as Sega's own acknowledgement of the desire for a Nintendo Switch version. I know many of people who would pay top dollar to take Ryo's Saga on the go with them and explore the Asian way of life in this charming effort that was way ahead of its time. I had both games on my Dreamcast, but I never got around to finishing the second game. A Switch release would go a long way to remedying that problem. This would no doubt be a major seller for Sega and a missed opportunity should they not capitalize on it. Would you guys buy Shenmue HD on the Switch? Now before I get to the final entry, I just want to give a shout out to a few Dreamcast games that I'd love to see on the Switch but couldn't fit on this list. Time Stalkers, Silver, Dragon Riders, Headhunter, Illbleed. Now I know some of these aren't the best games in the world, but I would love just to go down memory lane to play them again. Just a bit of nostalgia for me. And our final choice for the Dreamcast game we'd love to see on the Switch? Well, for me, there is a clear frontrunner as to which game truly deserves another go in the limelight. Skies of Arcadia is one of my favourite games of all time, of that there is no doubt. This classic Sega JRPG hooked me like very few others did. The adventurous tales of Vice, Ica and Fina as they travel around the world to stop the Valuan Empire was just a joy to behold for me as a kid with an overactive imagination. Sky pirates, airship battles, kaiju-like monsters, exotic locations, secret bases, crew, recruitment, and an epic, heartfelt story make Skies of Arcadia one of the best RPGs of all time and worthy of a Nintendo Switch port. Obviously, it would be based on the enhanced GameCube version, but this port is a must. Will it happen? Probably not. It's a niche game that Sega haven't touched again since its disappointing sales on both Dreamcast and GameCube. But Sega, if you're listening, give it a shot, please. So there you have it, guys. These are the 5, well, okay, more than 5 Dreamcast games we'd love to see on the Switch. In the poll above, tell us which of these you would be up for most. Which one would you buy instantly should it release on the Switch? Now I suggest you head over to my previous list of the 5 Capcom classics that would be perfect to have on the Nintendo Switch. There may very well be another classic Dreamcast title in that list. I've been Jordan from SwitchWatch, and I'll see you over there.